So a lot of the furniture I got from palaces, and for me, the shinier they are, the better. The gaudier, the better. I don't know why. And that's why I like winning gold medals.
The Doug Heir story, from the Wheaties cereal box to the Olympics.
He's a remarkable man with an incredible story.
CBS has called you the world's most accomplished and diversified athlete.
Those are our gold medals. You won an international competition.
This is just the tip of the iceberg.
I know it.
His walls are covered with plaques and awards from all over the world.
But what makes him so extraordinary are the obstacles he's overcome.
I had an accident, and it changed my life just 1 second.
He almost died that night. He could have.
It does start with being as low as you can be and as desperate and hopeless.
It never dawned on me what it could lead to.
I do believe in miracles. I depend on them.
The real winners in life are the people that can look at the obstacles and say, I have them, but I'm going to do something with my life and live it to the fullest.
How easy it is to become impressed with this young man.
Fall down, get dirty in life, and get back up again. And that's the journey. Hey, Adam. So good to see you. Come on in.
See you, bud.
How are you?
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming over.
Okay, well, we definitely added another piece of art to this room.
Yeah. And then this room here, we call this our little Noah's Ark in here. This is the world's largest antelope right there. And we don't do any hunting in the house here, but we just find these animals so beautiful. I never thought one day I'd have like a 12,000 square foot house. There's my mom hiding behind the kitchen table over there. There's one of our new...
You can hide, but we can hear you.
My name is Doug Heir, and I grew up in Palisades Park. I had a great childhood. My parents spoiled us rotten. My brother, he was my idol.
I was his watch guard, you know. I was checked on what was going on.
We were pretty competitive. We were both pretty strong. We were strong kids, and he'd come in and he'd hold me down on all fours and he'd drool on top of my head.
My father was like a saint. My mother was like a saint. And their marriage, you never saw anything like this marriage. I mean, seriously.
We wanted 8 or 9 children. What did we know? I come from a family of so many children. My mother's side had 16, and Leonard's side had 9. We had 3 children between us, and we had 6 adopted.
She has a dream that she's supposed to take in Down syndrome kids. She takes in 1, she takes in 2, 3, 4, 5, you know. First we had Marianne, so we kind of grew up with Marianne being my sister.
She has the bluest eyes you've ever seen, and I'm not even partial, I'm not prejudiced, but they're so blue, and she's so happy.
I have 5 profoundly retarded and my Marianne.
I mean, it was just like having kids forever. It was the best experience you could grow up with.
Doug and Brian were good boys. They really were good children. They had good marks in school, never had a problem. Never had a problem with homework. I have to say that was a relief.
Well, my first year of high school, I guess I was a pretty big guy, and then I just kept growing, and I got to be 6'4", and I was having the time of my life. We were always good kids. We always cared about other people. We never bad. Never got in trouble with, you know, alcohol or drugs or anything like that.
My mom encompassed, from her background being Irish Catholic and my father's being heavy on the Jewish side, there were a lot of different philosophies from the both religions, you know, and they try to keep us neutral. So we had the best of both worlds.
It was only the first week of January, and it was cold. Marianne, she said she smelled smoke, and we opened the laundry room door, and the whole ceiling was on fire in the laundry room. Immediately, you know, I got Marianne out of the house, and my mom out of the house. Oh, you hear things exploding in the house, and all the pictures that you had and the memories you had of everything growing up are all being burned. And I ran outside to go get the garden hose, and I ran it downstairs to try to put the fire out, but the garden hose was frozen. standing outside your house watching it burn down, and it was a volunteer fire department. It took a long time for them to come. And you're watching the windows blow out, exploding out of your house, and your mom, you're holding her, and she's screaming and crying. Oh, yeah. But they say the things that don't kill you make you strong in life. So. These aren't real. You probably thought these are real, right?
Yeah. I was a little scared at first. I was like, you're growing giant ducks in your back pool.
I just love swimming. It gives me the freedom. I can move around and be free, and it's good. It's good exercise as well. You can see there's no high board here, no high diving boards, or no lifeguard stand here. You know.
It was 21 years ago when Doug became a quadriplegic.
Probably we should get started going back to that Father's Day, nearly 10 years ago.
Sure.
In 1977, Doug graduated from high school filled with the typical senior self-assurance that the world was his to conquer.
My life was just great. I mean, everything was like perfect.
To me, everything was perfect. Just pledged to fraternity, and I was playing college football, and being real good in karate, and 6'4". So I never thought anything would happen to me. I was lifeguarding. I guess my summer job was Father's Day.
I was the head lifeguard. We had 24 lifeguards working for us. So I dispersed them all around the pool where they were, because, let me tell you, these kids would jump in, didn't have a clue how to swim, and we'd have to pull them out with poles or go in for them, whatever it was. It was nuts.
And Brian said, take the lifeguard stand over there. I remember climbing the ladder, and the whole chair was moving as I was climbing up the ladder.
I put him in a lifeguard stand that's 6 feet up from the cement, from the ground, which the pool is 8 feet up to there. So you got 8 feet of the pool and 6 feet higher. So that's 14 feet up.
And the pool's low by about 1.5 feet because they were cleaning the pool. I heard somebody yelling for help. It looked like someone was drowning. When I dove in, this stand kicked back and my head hit the bottom of the pool. It was like crack, and I heard the crack. So I'm flopping in the water trying to stand, and I noticed the water's red.
And I see all this red water around where he's floating. So I jump in, I dive in for him, and as I get closer, I see it's my brother. I'm like, holy shit, what happened?
And I'm trying to surface, and I couldn't get my head above the water. And I'm floundering in the water myself, drowning.
I came up behind him like you're supposed to, but the blood rushing out of the top of his head was unbelievable. And he was almost unconscious. I don't even know how he came up to the surface.
And all of a sudden, Brian grabs me and he pulls me up out of the water. He goes, what's wrong, what's wrong? I said, what'd you do? I said, I don't know, I hit my head in the bottom of the pool. I said, well, what about the kid over there? He goes, oh, the kid's just playing a joke.
He dove in for a kid that was pretending to be drowning.
I'm watching people touching my legs, and I can't feel they're touching me.
And he says to me, Brian, he says, I can't. He's like, I can't feel anything. And I'm like, it's fine, Doug, it's fine. You're just imagining it's fine. It's just a shock. It's just a shock. I can remember I was more worried about him bleeding to death than anything. I'm screaming to the guards, come on, give me that spinal board. Like I knew something was really bad.
And I remember just being in his arms. It seemed like for hours, but it wasn't only minutes. You know, the other lifeguards grabbed a spinal board.
So I said, easy does it. Just float it underneath. Do everything I showed you how to do, right? And I'm holding him, and I'm like, oh fuck, he's screwed. I knew he was screwed, but I can't let him go. He's like, Brian, just let me go. I just want to die. I'm like, no, you're not going to do that. I can't let you go. First of all, Mom and Dad would be really pissed. Like, you know, I'm trying to make a little humor out of it, you know?
So I remember asking my brother to just throw me back in the pool. I said, I don't want to live this way, so I'm paralyzed. And he said, you know what Mom and Dad will do if I throw you back in the pool? They'll kill me, you know? I'm trying to make it like a little bit funnier. But I said, no, just throw me back. I said, I don't want to live this way. And he said to me, I just remember like it was yesterday, he said, you know, I'm here with you. I'll be strong. I'll help you get through this. We'll get through this together. You know, we've been through a lot. This is not a big deal. You'll be better in no time.
He's floating like this, and it seemed like hours before the ambulance came, and I've got a bandage on his head to stop the bleeding. I'm so worried he's gonna bleed to death. It was pretty crazy. And then the ambulance comes, and they're like, "You didn't move him, right?" I said, "No, I've kept him as still as possible." He said, "You may have saved his life." I'm like, "What do we do?" She says, "We got it from here." I said, "No, I'm staying here. I'm gonna stay right next to him." And I said, "What do we do for the bleeding?" He said, "That's not the problem."
I get a phone call from the pool where he was, and it's Brian. And Brian says to me, "Mama, you have to come right away. Doug has had an accident. He's in critical condition."
So the ambulance came, and they put me in the back of the ambulance, and my life changed just like that.
I remember the ambulance guy saying, "Listen, whatever you did, you may have saved whatever quality of life your brother has because you didn't take him out of the water and you left him floating with the water support under his neck, so you didn't move anything to cause any further damage, because any break in a neck like what he has." I said, "What do you mean his neck is broken?" "His neck is broken." I'm like, "What are you talking about? It's just shock." Like it was a total denial.
And as they moved him out of the ambulance, they picked him up, and they didn't pick him up right, and he lost the use of his arms and hands. And he felt it just sink away, fade away. The doctor said it will take him into the emergency room as soon as it's open. I said, "I don't care where your emergency is open or not. You take him in there, and the other person isn't as injured as he is. You get rid of the other one." He said, "It doesn't work like that." I said, "It does now." It was so difficult to understand such a tragedy. When they told me he was paralyzed, I lost it. I just couldn't believe it could happen.
I never even thought, when I pulled him out of the pool, because I was the one who pulled him out, I never even thought that he would be in a wheelchair.
He said, "We'll face this together. You'll be fine." He said, "We'll face it together. Whatever it is, we're going to face it together." And he never failed him. Never failed him.
It's amazing how 1 second just changed your life like that. You know, from being this big guy with dreams and hopes of this wonderful life ahead, all shattered like at the bottom of a pool. Boom, just like that, 1 second.
And he's paralyzed from the armpit down. And his hands flare out. And I kept trying to put his hands together. The doctor said, "Don't." He said, "You'll be grateful that they flare out." He said, "You want them like this?"
At first, there wasn't even a wheelchair, just a hospital bed and a brace bolted to his head.
One thing I remember most about breaking my neck is the doctor coming in with a little toolbox, puts it down and said, "Doug, we're gonna have to put these screws in your skull to put a halo brace on." And he takes a screwdriver and starts putting a screw right into your skull. You hear every turn. You know, talk about you wait for your paycheck. How about waiting for somebody to come in every morning and tighten your screws?
You look like Frankenstein put you together.
You know, wearing this apparatus, it was very difficult to do anything. You had to, chew straight. Your head was straight up. You couldn't like turn your head to talk to people.
He was in a bed that ties him down, that goes in a circle. So it goes in a circle, full circle. You're laying there and you're spinning because it keeps the water in your lungs from building up so you don't get pneumonia and die. So he's spinning around in a bed like a piece of meat. What a horrible way to, how do you get through that? It's like unbelievable. But he was in that bed for like a couple of months. Yeah, it was pretty rough.
At first, Doug didn't have the strength to do simple things such as shaving or brushing his teeth. His choice was to remain helpless or to learn how to do things from a wheelchair. His family encouraged him to be independent. Progress was measured in tiny victories.
I remember when I was able to hold a cup in my hand, a cup of soda. My parents were so excited. They told my friends and they told the doctors about the good news. They said, "Douglas is doing remarkably well." My friends came in, they all expected to see me walking, and all I was doing was holding a plastic cup.
For a while, we were mourning a living person. Isn't this terrible to say?
You keep hoping for a miracle's going to happen.
I was very angry. I mean, how can everybody be happy?
And
when the recoveries didn't come. Then comes the acceptance. You have to live with the acceptance.
For a while, Heir was so depressed, he urged his friends to roll him off the hospital balcony.
He said to me, I don't want to live anymore, Mama.
I got to the point it seemed like hopeless. It wasn't really going to get better. And everybody around me was always like, talking about killing themselves because you're in the room with other spinal cord injuries.
That thought of suicide is in my mind all the time, and I find I don't have any will to go on anymore.
And I saw really no future, no hope. I said, why bother? I'm not really important, I don't count, and why don't I just end my life?
Because I had these metal rods that stuck up into the sky. It was maybe just about a few inches above my head. I thought they made lightning rods. The rain was pouring, it was like 2 in the morning. I said, this is it, I gotta end the suffering. I don't want to live my life in a wheelchair. I don't want to be this burden. I got into the wheelchair, so I sneak up the elevator. I get to the top of the roof. I go on the roof, and it's pouring rain out there. I'm like, this is it. So I'm out there talking to God in the rain and lightnings. I hear the bolts. And then this man comes up to me. And I always heard about a homeless man that lives on the roof. And he had these piercing eyes. He said, what are you doing out here? He said, you should be inside. I said, no, I can't take it anymore. I don't want to give up. And he had this whole lecture for me. And it was like I was talking to God. And he goes, he said, don't be afraid of the challenges that you might have in front of you. Don't be afraid of life. He said, find the strength inside yourself to be brave and be strong and be tough. And I think he uses the words like, just knock it off. Stop feeling sorry for yourself. And you got parents that love you, and you got a brother. It's so funny because I can be emotional about this. It was like 30 years ago. And you got a brother that loves you, and you got people that care about you. You can't disappoint all them. They'll be sad for the rest of their lives if you hurt yourself. Because I'm homeless, I have nothing. And he said, you have opportunity. He said, you could be someone with your life. And I said, that's it. I'm gonna face this challenge, and I'm not gonna give up. And then, after inspiring me, he's gone, and I'm still in the rain, and it's still lightning out, and I don't want to get hit by lightning bolts anymore. So I'm like, now I want to live. I was like, I can't get back into the building because it's a self-locking door. You get out, but you can't get back in. And I'm pulling the door. Nothing's happening. Like, I want to live.
But he almost died that night. He could have.
I said, listen, Doug, you keep saying why me. I can't keep listening to you say why me. I said, let's just do something. Just please do me a favor. Change the why me, just make it TRY me. Make it try me. This is what God is making you do for a reason. To see if you survive this, to see what you do with what he's giving you. Because there must be a reason for it. He must have it in his plan that this happened to you. I don't know why, I don't think it's a very good plan, but just let's stop the why me, just do the try me, and just let's live with try me for a while. We would do everything wrong. Shucking clams, having pizza, our food, which we wasn't supposed to be getting. So it was always something fun. It was like always illegal. Always something wasn't supposed to be going on. I just wanted to give him a piece of what he was missing. Mitch would clear the way so nobody was around. I literally dressed him up, put a hat on the halo brace, covered his body so nobody would see us. I wheeled him out of the freaking hospital onto New York City streets. I'm wheeling him down, get a hot dog from the hot dog stand. He's like, oh my God, we got in trouble every freaking day. I would go there and they would like, so they caught on to us. Like they would have somebody watching us every day after a while because I was doing everything wrong.
Having the doctor say, well, Doug, your life is basically over. You won't walk again. Plan on collecting Social Security and don't expect much. That was a real positive note for the doctor. Thank you, doctor.
But my brother had a different idea for me. He's like, well, it's hard for you to move, but your arms are free. There's nothing holding back your arms. So we started our new plan. He comes in with duct tape and weights. He would duct tape 1 pound wrist weights to my hands. He'd wrapping the tape around, wrapping it up. Okay, see you tomorrow. And he would leave me like that in the hospital. And I'm trying to lift up. Oh, I can't do it. 1 pound. 1 pound. I went from being this football player to this lying in bed trying to 1 pound. Oh, come on, put the fork up to your mouth. You can do it, you know. You either get busy with moving your arms with these weights on, or you sit there and you just watch TV and not move. But everything I did, I had to do this and do this. So before I knew it, my muscles started to grow. And the 2 pounds became 5 pounds, and then became 10 pounds and 20 pounds. And before I knew it, I was getting like big and getting strong. I'm like, wow, look at this. What we did is we cut out the bottom element here so you can roll your wheelchair right inside there and play basketball right. I just try to get creative. I had a little plastic zip tie, some duct tape, and then I'll slide my hand inside here. But now I can play pickleball. Otherwise, without having a grip, I couldn't even hold the paddle. Bring it on. Nice. So when I was in the hospital, they brought athletes in to meet me. They told me about wheelchair sports.
When I was first injured, I didn't want to associate with people in wheelchairs. I didn't want to be one of the handicapped with, men with blankets on their laps and their mothers pushing behind them in wheelchairs.
And they go, oh no, man, it's cool. Yeah, you got strong guys there, guys that take it really serious, guys that lift like 300 pounds and push the wheelchairs in 3-minute miles and stuff. Oh.
We decided let's do something different with Doug. Now that he's out of the hospital, I'm going to start training him on one-on-one, doing exercises, doing stuff that's way more aggressive than his physical therapist at the hospital. I wanted to do something tough guy shit, make him feel good.
The national championships were on June 18th, 1 year from the day that I broke my neck. And it's like, you're gonna get there. I'm like, I can't get there. You're gonna get there. So we would go to that gym and we'd be in there at nighttime, daytime, nighttime, daytime, nighttime, whatever it took. So I got strong fast.
Helping Doug with his coaching program is his brother, Brian.
We needed a vehicle to get him out of his depression, to make him feel important again, make him feel good about himself again.
Think in your mind, where's he gonna land?
Yeah, good.
Brian challenged Doug to live by appealing to his competitive spirit.
All right, Doug, come on.
Ah, beautiful.
Nice.
We'll get out at 7 o'clock in the morning, and in the field behind our house, we'll practice different ways of throwing the discus or the ShotPut. And there are no books written for a handicapped person how you can excel. There's no guidelines.
My father was freaking amazing. Talk about coming to the plate. Holy crap.
My family, my brother was out there. We worked with my sister, Marianne. She'd be out there 6:30 in the morning. She'd be holding my wheelchair, falling asleep. We all had fun as a family, Everybody was behind me.
We got him throwing javelin, shot-put, and discus. We were going to get him in the track and field. The problem with javelin, shot-put, and discus is that he didn't have finger dexterity. From all the stuff he had medically, he had this medical spray adhesive that we used for other things for him. So I would spray his hand.
That's good.
And he'd stick the discus in it. And he'd hold on a chair like this. And he'd swing like this. And boom! And the inertia of the throw, the glue would release the discus.
But I really never know exactly where it's going to go. So before I throw, they clear everybody out of the area.
Well, the problem was the javelin. So he had to glue one finger here, the thumb around here, gluing that like this, and then he would throw the javelin.
1 year later, I'm at the national championships.
Don't get psyched out, because there were guys like this that he's playing against, It was like, oh my God, how are we gonna beat the motorcycle drivers that broke their neck? These are tough guys, these are hard hombres,
But the whole time I'm there, they're all talking about this guy, Julius DeVal, the world champion, the national champion. I'm intimidated by this guy. They said, this guy's never lost. He's known as the Express because he runs over everybody. And there the guy is, the world champion. So we get there, and he's like, who are you? I said, we introduce himself. He goes, well, just remember, you're never going to beat me. And he gets out there, he does a great job, And I was like, wow, look at him do that, So I didn't even come close to him, but I took second place in everything. But he was my target, and my goal was set for the future. Once I beat him, I'll be the world champion.
We got invited to Stoke Mandeville for the World Games. That was the first thing that we're actually going to qualify for the Olympics, because you have to qualify for the World Games to get to the Olympics. So we got to fly to England. So we get there, we're doing the training. I said, you're not going to be stuck here. We're up in the middle of nowhere, no good food. I said, we're going to London. They don't have anything handicapped at those days in England. Nothing. Railroad guy comes out. I said, we got to get him on board. He says, well, wheelchair's not going to fit through the door. I said, well, we're going to London. I bought the tickets. We're going. He goes, listen, sir, I know it's not normal, but the only thing I can offer you is this cart in the back with some goats. I'm like, what? I'm like, goats? He says, yeah. He opens the sliding door. Goats are in cages. There's hay all over the place, right? I look at that, I say, Doug, I'm putting you up there, and I'm throwing the wheelchair up there. We're going to London. You're crazy! I don't want to go anymore. I don't want to go anymore. Shut up. I throw him on, fold the wheelchair, throw it on there. We rode with the goats to London. We get into the subway. There's no elevator to go up and down, only an escalator. I'm like, Doug, guess what we're doing? This escalator was so deep, you couldn't even see where you're going to. It must have went for like a mile going down. And I gotta take it down backwards because you can't take it down forward. And he's screaming the whole way, I can't believe you're doing this to me. I can't believe you're doing this to me. I'm like, holy shit. It was scary as anything. We get into a subway, we get out of Trafalgar Square. There's no escalator and no elevator. Back then, there was no curbs that were handicap accessible. The curbs are like this high. Any place you went, I gotta pull down, pull them up. It was the worst choice between getting there and then we had to go back and go through the whole same thing and go back home. Oh, it was crazy. Nothing stopped us from going to have fun. We always did something crazy. You know, we're really scared because there's a guy that we know Doug lost to already.
3 years of getting beat by him at the regional events, and anytime I saw his name on the roster of athletes, like, oh crap, he's here.
But we had been training really hard for this, you know, like making sure that he was stronger and better techniques on holding the chair, where to hold it.
And now at this point, I'm lifting like 200, 300, 400 pounds now. So that year, this is my year. Because I knew what I was doing. I knew how far I was throwing. And even at the regionals, I held back my throws because I didn't want him to know how far I was throwing because I could throw further than him. So if he knew, he'd probably go practice and train more. So I threw just enough that I would win without going, like a lot further. My brother and father, they're jumping up and down in the crowds and cheering and yelling. So it was a good feeling because you reflect back on how hard you worked to get to the point of feeling good about yourself again and being strong enough. And there's no way you don't sit there on the platform before you throw, thinking about all the crap you just went through, breaking your neck, the surgeries, the disappointments, the talking to God, and you sit there and you go, this is my moment.
He had javelin, he had discus, he had ShotPut, and he did all three. Breaks the first world record, breaks the second world record, breaks the third, javelin, ShotPut, discus, dug Heir, and he broke all world records, world champion. Our first competition!
I beat the legend. That was really great. But it was those national championships that were the ones that were really pinnacle for me to say, you've come full circle now.
And for the first time, I could see the happiness that came over him.
It's like I did it, to myself. But it was great to see my parents yelling and cheering, just like before my accident.
Now that Doug is qualified for the Olympic Games, we were so psyched, so happy. We couldn't wait to go. We get to Barcelona. That was our first real big one that we're gonna try to win. So I sprayed the glue on his hand, and he's got the discus in his hand, right? He goes like this, and he throws. And everybody's looking, what the fuck, where'd it go? It didn't land yet. The thing's going for miles. Where'd this thing go? still stuck to his hand.
And the discus never left my hand, you know. It's like, oh, so embarrassing, you know. But it's okay. That's why I said I think I'm a strong believer of laughing and enjoying the humanism of life.
So now that doesn't count. So he goes and he throws, and he throws. It was like God had wind under that discus. This thing went further than any score had ever gone.
You know, it's boom.
And I'll never forget looking at the sign up there, Doug Heir, winner del mundo, you know, winner del mundo of the world. You know, it was like, oh my God.
We were screaming the whole time, whatever it was. I tell you, it was so exciting. We never thought we'd see that. Never.
Oh, it's just a joy. I can't believe my son's the #1 in the world in everything he does.
They came running, oh, you did it, you beat him, now you're a world champion. So then I reigned as a world champion for 20 years after that.
Here is the Wheaties box. There you are. How did that happen?
What was funny is I used to always eat my Wheaties.
It is a very exclusive club. Only the very best athletes ever get a chance to join it.
How would you like to look at this handsome face across the breakfast table? You can help get Doug on this Wheaties box by filling out this coupon and mailing it in.
Then I got a phone call. Hello, Doug, this is General Mills. Yes.
Wheaties, that breakfast of champions.
Now, one of those champions showed such great courage recently in the face of such great adversity.
Wheaties felt that he just really epitomized the concept of what a champion is.
Ronald Reagan was on the box too. Now I'm going to be on it. Babe Ruth was on this, and Joe DiMaggio and Harry Aaron. It's just so exciting.
And I never thought they'd put a quadriplegic on a box of Wheaties, you know.
When we heard that he won the box, I was numb. I called up, I think, everybody but the President of the United States.
Going to the supermarket to see my brother on the face of a Wheaties box? So cool!
He's got the athletic accomplishments, the community involvement, academic record, the list goes on and on. He is going to provide an excellent role model.
We were greeted by the past Olympic honorees. And they're all there, they're clapping for you, they're congratulating you. You get a chance to speak to all of them. Everybody's got a box of Wheaties in front of them of you. I mean, what could be like better for an athlete? You're just sitting there going, holy cow, how good is life?
They had big posters there and all the names of the other winners that were on the boxes. And our son's name was the last one down.
You know, Babe Ruth's been there, and Ted Williams is there, and Doug, now you're there. And that's something I think we're pretty proud of you in New Jersey.
Wheaties sales in New Jersey must have gone up 50%. Where does it go from there?
This is a very special man named Doug Heir.
So many celebrities wanted to meet Douglas.
Hi, Doug.
Hi, Richard.
Nice to see you.
Thank you. Pleasure.
How did you come to appear on the Wheaties box?
Well, I eat the most cereal out of anybody in the world, though.
How am I doing?
Doing good.
Really terrific, eh? How come his self-esteem is going up and mine's going down?
President Clinton at the time had him at the White House 4 times.
British Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher and dinner with the Supreme Court.
Doug Heir.
Thank you.
You know, I always want to see one of these Olympic medals, and they are beautiful. They're heavy.
The chocolate on the inside.
Huh?
The chocolate on the inside and gold on the outside.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks, Doug, very, very much. You're an inspiration. We're following.
We ate Wheaties for a long time,
And then later, a lot of the athletes I got to work with, we did a tour. We spoke to over 2 million students around America.
It's a show that will reach more than 2 million kids in 300 cities and towns in this great country. The Health South Go For It Kids Show.
We would go into these arenas and we would talk to kids. I would be the only disabled guy, but it would be like Michael Jordan, Bo Jackson, Herschel Walker, myself.
But please, get that education, because no matter what, you always have an education to fall back on, whether you're a professional athlete or whatever you do in life.
We'd be at nighttime playing cards in my room, sitting on my bed playing cards, or we'd go to the movies together. It's like, I can't believe this. Look who's in my room, you know? We all know like what it takes to be an athlete, whether you're in a chair or not. It's a lot of work to get to be, you know, the best in your sport. So there was a lot of camaraderie instantly with everybody, and they just couldn't be more supportive. And I never ever, when I laid in that bed thinking, oh, let me get hit by a lightning bolt and just die. To now sitting, you know, with Michael Jordan or with Herschel Walker, just hanging out, or I'm with Dan Marino. I mean, just so many great athletes I got a chance to do these shows with. But we touched a lot of people's lives. And at the end of each show, we'd have these autograph sessions. So Michael Jordan's line would be from here till this, you couldn't see. My line would have about 30 people on it, but I would always stay the longest because I was still thrilled. Signing autographs, you know. So it's like, I'll do it all day. One letter from a kid saying that I'm his second favorite athlete. Michael Jordan is his first, but yes, it's okay. Nothing will be his second to Michael Jordan.
Being an attorney, I specialize now with paraplegics and quadriplegics who have spinal cord injuries.
Graduated from law school 2 weeks ago, Rutgers Campbell Law School, and he's going to be an excellent attorney.
He says he'll be an advocate for the handicapped in the courts, as well as the first lawyer on that box of Wheaties.
I never thought he'd become a lawyer. I really thought he wanted to be a doctor.
Marianne, she said to me, if you become a lawyer, you'll be able to help people with disabilities, right? Yes, absolutely. So she goes, you gotta be a lawyer then, you gotta do it.
An international wheelchair athlete, and now he's a lawyer.
Douglas Heir. As a lawyer, I have the opportunity to really improve the quality of other people's lives.
Today, Doug is a licensed attorney. He represents clients nationwide, with particular emphasis on spinal cord injuries.
But it's fun because most people, when I go into court now, think I'm the one suing or something.
Yeah, right.
You know, so it works
That's
out.
good. A little advantage, a little psychological advantage.
You speak all over the world. Now you are in town for the Mayor's Committee on Employment of the Handicapped.
You're doing a lot of work also to make sure that the architecture of this country is easy for people in a chair.
People just don't realize what problems handicapped people have with access. The more people stand up and say what they're feeling and believe in their rights, more will get done.
There are laws being instituted on a federal basis for people with disabilities. It's called the Americans with Disabilities Act. And, you know, just automatically got involved in that.
He became an injury lawyer, kick-ass injury lawyer.
But here I am, this guy, starting out and getting famous clients pretty early on, and then I'm representing people that had major injuries, spinal cord injuries, and that's where I felt my strength was, helping other people in similar situations to myself. One of my favorite clients was Christopher Reeves when he became paralyzed. I got to work with him, and he was doing great things for paralysis, and you know, I think if he was still alive, there may be a cure have been found already because he did so much for it.
I was in England and I was passing one of the world's famous cathedrals there, right across the street from Parliament. And I passed this little sign, and it was an 8.5 by 11 sign, and it said healing ceremony once a year, and it was this day from 12 to 1. And I said, of all the places I could be in the world, and I happened to be passing this little 8.5 by 11 sign, just happened to be in England on that day, right next to it. And I went into the cathedral, and it was just beautiful with the paintings on the wall and the holiness that was there. And I said to my dad, my father was with me, Dad, this is the day I'm going to walk. This is a miracle. This is great. And I was so focused that I'm going to be cured on this day because the way everything transpired that day was just overwhelming and so coincidental. And I remember going up there and saying the prayers, and I was waiting to stand up and walk all of a sudden. And at the end, the prayers were there, and I felt enlightened, but I didn't have the ability to walk. And when I spoke to the Monsignor afterwards, he expressed to me that the miracle that I received that day didn't have to be what I was looking for in the sense of walking.
One of my favorite career activities was I got to be the corporate spokesperson for Health South. Their rehabilitation chain, just a great rehab company. And Richard Scucci at the time was their chairman CEO. He said, Doug, I am going to get you to walk. You will walk again. And he did.
You may not think of walking on a treadmill as one of life's most victorious moments, but if it had been years or even decades since you've been able to stand, your heart would race to feel your feet move beneath you. In June 2000, the first working model of Health South's autoambulator was unveiled. Health South spokesman Doug Heir, a record-breaking paraplegic gold medalist, Wheaties champion, and Sports Hall of Famer, finally realized the moment he had been anticipating for more than 2 decades.
I couldn't even sleep last night. I was just so excited about it. So I feel like a little kid.
Can I give you a hug? I haven't given you a hug standing ever. Hey, I love you. Thank you. Thank you.
You know, granted, you know, it's tough being in a wheelchair, but not really. I mean, you can still live a full life, and I have a full life, and I've accomplished many of my dreams and goals that I never thought were possible, and I'm not missing out on anything with the laws and the Americans with Disabilities Act and great things that are happening, but if incorporating walking into my everyday lifestyle is incredible, and I feel I'm missing nothing now.
Doug sees his chair not as a handicap, but as a vehicle.
Let's say you have a chess set, and I lost the queen on my chess set because being physically big was always the most important piece to me. You want to flip the board and quit, but what I realized is that you still have a rook and a pawn and a bishop.
His accomplishments serve as an inspiration to handicapped and non-handicapped people that a positive outlook and determination can conquer mountains.
Doug was talking to one of these little kids, and he was saying, your job in this life is to make this a better world. And this little kid was like, well, yeah, right, I'm a C student. How am I going to do that? And Doug said, it all starts by building a better you.
Doug explained to the kids that they didn't need to look to anyone else. They had it from within.
So the heck with role models. And I can tell you, you don't need role models. The only role model that you need in your life is yourself.
What do you say to these people in hospitals?
I try to tell them that it's a tough road ahead, but it's survivable.
Glenn was so affected by his one meeting with Doug that he stopped talking about dying, and now he lectures others about living.
My brother's injury wasn't a tragedy. It was actually a blessing in disguise.
Many people say, are you bitter with that boy who was only joking and you ended up paralyzed? And what you say is so true. In a sense, I thank him.
I mean, there are problems. We all have problems, but it's not so terrible. Life is really beautiful, even at its worst.
Really just can't take life that seriously. You know, once you have the ability to kind of laugh at things and just say, oh, well, it's too bad I broke my neck, but what are you going to do?
Thank you, Mom and Dad, for a wonderful life.
He's always tells us that. Thank you for my wonderful life. Always.
Coming from a quadriplegic, a wonderful life.
Tragedies happen for a reason. These things happen, but you have to turn your tragedy around. You have to know this is temporary. Your situation might not change, but what we do in your mind will change your situation.
I wish for everybody watching this, give yourself a break, be kind to yourself. You know, so many people are always in search of more, they never get there and they're never happy. So enjoy just the mess you're in right now. You're gonna be better, it's gonna get better. You'll learn the greatest teacher in life is suffering. Oh my God, how good life can be, you know. And how lucky I have been to have the parents and the brother and sisters that allowed me the opportunity to grow. Building a home and being a lawyer in court and, you know, winning trials and helping other people with their lives, you know. So it was just, oh my God, what a roller coaster ride it's been. But it does start with being as low as you can be in life and as desperate and hopeless to a place where you could finally say, you know, I'm happy. It's a good life.
When I received one of the gold medals, I was up on the platform, and I was so happy. I'm representing America, and they said, Doug, do you need help going down the ramp? And when you become the gold medalist, you know, you become very proud. And I said, I have it. And I remember popping a wheelie and flipping over backwards on this platform in front of thousands of people with this gold medal dangling around my neck. I'm laying in the dirt. But what was nice is I got back up and you brush your pants off. And, you know, part of life is you fall down and get dirty. So this time when I was in Seoul, Korea, though, when they asked, Doug, do you need help down the ramp? I said, I'll take some help this time, you know?
You work so much with young kids, Doug. What is the most important piece of advice that you give them?
I think the most important thing is to go out there and try it. And so many kids are afraid of failing or they're afraid of rejection. But if you participate in something, it's amazing what might come out of it.
Take your shoes off.
Sure.
All right. Now, people, you know, a lot of people, it's great to do with a partner in bed.
Yeah,
much more exciting.
Now, show what we're doing here.
Sure. A lot of people have lower back problems.
I
so,
do.
Yes. A good.
It wouldn't affect us. So.
You know, it's a great gift that we have, and I'm sure I'm not telling you anything you don't already know, but just to put things in perspective, just to remind you that continual opportunity that we have to capture our dreams, to be that person we want to be, to realize if we want something, that we got to get that desire, we got to find that enthusiasm on how we're going to go about capturing that, and then come up with a plan on how to achieve it. And after we got a plan, then we got to implement it and work at it and have fun with it and set a lot of little goals and pat people on the back as we go through the travels of life and through the journeys. Because you don't know what's going to happen.